Ahoy and welcome aboard everybody. Today I am doing my August setup in my bullet journal. It's actually the first month I'm doing in my brand new second half of 2021 journal, which I just set up. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it for you above. But for this month I am doing a pirate theme and I'm super excited because the spreads turned out even better than I imagined and I'm just very content with how everything looks. So for my cover page, I glued in 2 pieces of this brown craft paper I have. One for my title, August, and one for a little pirate map, which you're going to be seeing in a few seconds. And then I just added a bunch of piratey nautical doodles all around. We've got a captain's hat, a sword, some crossbones, some coins or pieces of 8, of course. A compass, a hook, a rope, a cannonball, all of that stuff. Oh, and of course some bottles of rum. And I just spread those all over the page. And then next to it for my quote page, I chose a quote from Pirates of the Caribbean, Yo ho, a pirate's life for me, which is just from that song that they sing. And to decorate it, I put a little ship and a bottle in between the text, and I think it looks really cool. As you can see, I try to make the edges of my craft paper look a little bit rugged and kind of like burnt a little bit by adding little strokes with my fine liner and then coloring it in with a little bit of a darker brown so it looks a bit singed. And I can pretend I have an authentic pirate map on my page in my bujo. And maybe you missed it just now, but I had some blue and red pens lying next to my bujo because I originally planned to make a more classic nautical color scheme for this one. But while coloring it in, I actually decided to do a simple black and white theme, not fully black and white because I'm also using my craft paper, of course, and some gold accents. But I think this just looks a lot better than what I had originally planned with the blue and the red. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. Next up is my calendar spread, and I used my craft paper here again as little pieces of my pirate maps and used the same technique on them to make them look a little singed and rugged and old. And then I just added my title August at the top left and added my regular grid calendar. And on that note, if you don't like using a ruler like me, then the best way to get straight lines horizontally as well is to just turn around your journal so you can drag down your fine liner. And that's what makes it easier to freehand straight lines. To decorate the rest of the spread around my calendar grid, I'm just adding some more of my pirate doodles, more bottles of rum, little starfish, a couple more cannonballs, sabers, all of that stuff. And then just using my black, yellow and gold accent colors to make everything pop. If I had planned to do a more dark color scheme, I probably would have painted my nails black. I think that would have been cool because I always like to match my nails or what you can see, like my sleeves of my clothes when I'm wearing long shirts in winter, and of course the background, because I just think that adds to the vibe of the whole video. So for this one I used a bunch of my jewelry to decorate the background with some pirate gold. So I always have a lot of fun creating and finding new ways to decorate the backgrounds of my videos and making everything look pretty and match the theme. And moving on to the next 2 spreads. First off, we have my budget tracker, which I always do in my bullet journal. And for this one, I added 4 pieces of my craft paper for each of my 4 categories of spending, which I always use. And then next to it, I'm doing my note spread. For decoration, I just added my basic pirate doodles from the previous spreads for my budget tracker, and then for my note spread I did something a little bit different, a treasure chest which is overflowing with golden coins, and there's also some sand around it in which an anchor and a sword are kind of stuck. I used to do my note spreads across 2 pages, but recently I found that I only need the 1 page if I use it at all, but just in case I still try to include at least 1 page for each month, just if I have something to write down, like to-do lists and stuff. And in general, the past few months, even from last year, my spreads that I do every month have stayed pretty much the same. So I always do my cover, my calendar, budget, notes, mood, gratitude log, and then my weekly spreads. Sometimes I'll add a habit tracker in there, but I'm not too big of a fan of those, so I usually just skip them. So that's pretty much the order and the amount of spreads that I do every single month, and the layout stays pretty much the same as well, at least for my budget tracker. And moving on to my mood tracker, for this one I cut up a really big piece of my craft paper because for my mood tracker I'm going to create one large treasure map, which I'm also outlining with my fineliner and then the brown pen to make it look like an old map. And then I'm just adding some islands just in random shapes, and then spread my 31 days of August across. And for each day I'm going to be drawing either an X for a treasure which is buried there, a palm tree, or just some squiggles which is supposed to be writing, and that will tell me what my mood was that day. And just to decorate around the map so there isn't just some big blank space around, I added some more of my gold pieces. Next up we have my gratitude log, except this time I called it a line a day because I found out that I've been calling it a gratitude log, but I haven't always been writing down what I'm grateful for, but rather what was good about my day. So I just wanted to rename it to a line a day, so I can just write down what was good about the day or even what was bad about a day, so I can look back at the end of the month and see which days were good for me, especially in combination with the mood tracker next to it, and just reflect a little bit each day, which I think is important. And we are already at the final spread for this setup, which is my first weekly spread. And for this one I chose a classic layout with horizontal boxes, or rather just lines separating it. And for each day I'm adding one of my pirate doodles. And then in the lower right corner I'm adding some more of my craft paper and adding a little bit of a map outline. And that's where I'm going to put any notes I have that week. But this weekly spread layout is really very, very simple. So I'm starting the week on Sunday this time, which I don't normally do, but the month starts on a Sunday and I don't like to have the first day of a month still in the previous month's weekly spread, if you know what I mean. So I always start with the first of the month, no matter which weekday that is, and then just incorporate it into my regular weekly spread. And just like that, we are at the end of this setup and of this video. Here's my final flip through of my August pages. I'm really happy with how this theme turned out. I know I always say that, but this time I really am. It turned out a lot better than I had hoped, so I'm very happy with it. I hope you enjoyed watching me and enjoy this theme as well. If you did, leave a thumbs up, maybe hit that subscribe button, that would mean the world to me, and come back for my next video. Bye!